So we're covering a lot of things in this cycle. This cycle is going to be a pretty intense one. We've got a number of different strands that are currently forming our strategy. So, for example, one of them is going to be daily builds. I mean, one of the most valuable things that we've got in Ubuntu is that we don't only have oversight and control of our distribution, and when I say ours, I mean the community, not just Canonical, but also we have this incredible development infrastructure with Launchpad and Bazaar. So one thing that we're going to be doing is we have a facility whereby you can generate daily packages. So an upstream could have a package, their software, and then they could generate daily packages every night. So the benefit of that is that makes it really easy for people to get involved in testing. But that also has lots of little implications around bug triage and tracking and stuff like that. So we're going to be focusing on that. There's also a lot more development coming out of the design and the desktop experience teams. So many people have seen Mark's announcement about Unity for the netbook edition. So there's things like that. We've got new technologies that are going to be coming out. We've talked about the menu in the panel and window indicators and things like that. So my team is going to be helping to work with upstreams and community members about how to make use of that technology as well. And that fits in very neatly with our kind of development focus, which is making it really easy for application developers to write software and deploy it in Ubuntu. So we had a really good session today on how we can lower the bar for people to take their software and make it very visible in Ubuntu. So those are some of the key streams. I mean, we've got translations, lots more upstream work. We're refreshing a lot of the content that's been a bit outdated on Ubuntu.com. Those are probably the key themes.
Well, I noticed too in some of the press releases that Canonical put out, I believe it was the 27th, right before the release, and Canonical's focus seemed to be a lot on the cloud aspects and the server. And I noticed also that there was a position open on your team for a server cloud community person on your team. I don't remember what the exact job title was.
Ubuntu Cloud Community and Liaison.
So, what is the plan for building the cloud community within the Ubuntu community?
So basically, Ubuntu is, the way I see it, is Ubuntu is something of an ethos. It's an attitude towards software, and it's high quality software that's deployed really easily and effectively. And the idea is that we can take that ethos to all the different areas. So I think we've done that pretty well on the desktop. I think we're doing that ever better on the netbook edition, and now we're really starting to focus that on the server as well. The cloud is something that's still a very new technology. I still think a lot of people don't really understand the implications of the cloud and what it can do for them. But in Karmic, we had the Ubuntu Enterprise Cloud was really got some traction, and so we're extending our cloud offerings. And part of that is building a community. So we have like a very informal community that's around right now, but it's very loosely knit. So our focus is going to be, have some head count there, so somebody can really build a strategy, somebody can really build some focus around that community and harnessing that community around the public, private, and personal cloud.
It sounds exciting, and it's good to see, I guess, the community team grow in a sense that you reach more areas of the community in probably ways that you probably couldn't have imagined when you first started working with Canonical. And with all the focus, especially at this UDS, around developer, and that seems to be that theme for Maverick, does that make the role of the non-developer person, that person who doesn't write code, it probably doesn't lessen their contribution, but what plans are there for those non-developer community users or Ubuntu users to get involved in the community? What's the motivation if the talk here is developer? How do we then make sure that those non-developers know that your contribution is also welcome?
Yes. So the focus on these other areas like opportunistic developers and the cloud and things like that are really areas where we're filling in the gaps. So as Ubuntu is this incredible platform, and we consume the platform every day when we use it. We use the software that ships in Ubuntu, and we get more software from the software center. I think what's happening is we're beginning to really work on focusing on Ubuntu as an actual platform for software development. And we've never really done that before. I mean, we've done it. People have been writing software for Ubuntu for years, but we haven't really exposed it as a cohesive platform that people can use to create interesting and fun apps. And likewise, the cloud is something that, because it's very new, that's an area of opportunity. It's an area of growth that we want to identify. And like you said, I don't think it detracts away from quote unquote non-technical people, or people who aren't doing technical development work. We've had a long and thriving community there for a long time, but they're still very part of the effort, but very part of the focus. Because I think one of the most wonderful things about community is that community is diverse, and it provides the opportunity to do things that investors in software often don't have the time to. So, for example, I don't have anyone on my team who is focused on purely the user community. We very much focus traditionally on collaborative communities. But we have a really fantastic, we have the Ubuntu beginners team, we have the forums, we have people working on things like the manual and all this kind of stuff who are really satisfying the needs of the end user. So what I try to do with our team is to really help with the strategy and help those people be successful in their projects, so they can think, all right, I want to focus on this particular demographic or this particular subset of people in our community. How can we help them to be really successful, even if we can't actually help them with their projects?
It sounds like what you're describing is a really good effort to pair up both the developer and the non-developer in ways that they complement one another and not compete with one another within the community. And even though during the Maverick cycle we may be talking about apps and how to get those more developers in, but at the same time, when you have more developers developing software, you also need the documentation, you need the people advocating for those. So it's a good partnership. It seems.
Complements. I mean, I think again, it's one of the benefits of community is that if you think about a community project, I mean, take something such as a specific project, something such as the GIMP or Pitavi. Those projects depend on so many skill sets to be successful. I mean, they need people to write code, but they need people to test it, bug triage, icons, artwork, website stuff, translations, all of these different things. And they span a hugely diverse range of skills. That's part of the reason why I'm really surprised in many ways how open source has been so successful, because the sheer level of skills and input that you need to create a great piece of software is mind-blowing. And open source has managed to do that in a relatively uncoordinated way in the earlier days. Now we're more and more coordinated. Now we've got people working in this space. So I think it really gets to the heart of everyone's got a seat at the table. Everyone's got an opportunity to stick their brick in the wall and be counted. And one thing that we need to do in this work is to make it very clear to people that the contribution of a advocate or a translator or a documentation writer is absolutely as equal as that of a developer. And some people don't really get that vibe, because I think as non-technical people, I mean, I'm not a programmer really, I'm a hobbyist and I'm a terrible programmer, but I think people who are non-technical in this world sometimes feel a certain amount of, they get a little bit self-conscious about not being as equal to one of the rock stars who's writing code, and that's just rubbish. I mean, everyone plays a part.
Well, I think Ubuntu, as a community, does a great job of promoting that equality across the board. What is it with Maverick, this next cycle, that you personally are looking most forward to? And then what is it that you're looking forward to overall with Maverick?
Good question. Most looking forward to? Vacation. I think in this cycle, the thing I'm most pumped up about really is I feel like, so this is broken into two areas. Just me as a user of Ubuntu, I'm really excited about the design work that's going on. I feel like Ubuntu is becoming, I've said this to a few people, like I felt like Lucid was a new milestone in the era of Ubuntu. Like I think we're going to look back in 10 years at that point in the Ubuntu timeline, and we're going to say things changed with Lucid for the good. We're going to look back and going to say, beforehand we were just taking stuff and we were shipping it together and it worked well. But with Lucid we started becoming a product and not just a project. And I see this when people use Ubuntu, and they're really surprised. Ivanka, from the design team, did a talk the other day about how end users say, "This is free," people like it. But I think that we've always had excellence in engineering, and now we're bringing excellence in design. And I think we're bringing excellence into the product in lots of different areas. We've seen excellence in translations. Like we have over 17,000 translators, and they're doing a phenomenal job. So I think that that's the thing that excites me. In terms of specifically the community, I'm just enjoying seeing the diversity of the community growing again. I feel like we're embracing more of the non-technical users, more translators. We're talking with the cloud and people like that. So I feel like we're becoming more of a family in that regard.
Well, Jono, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to me, and I'm looking forward to Maverick, Ubuntu 10.10, and like I tell everybody else, 10.10.10.
Good start.
So, and look forward to what that future brings. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Emma.
much.